Yo, gang. Today, KaySquad, how are we doing today? How are we doing? I hope everybody is happy, healthy, smiling ear to ear. We are going to come at you today with a new series. I know, there's so many series, there's so much content. This new series, though, is going to be School is in Session. Last night, historic moment for the KaySquad, historic moment for Uniquegrowth, historic moment for Dakayman. We hit the best second rank Parse from Brewmasters on Chimaerus. Hold your applause. Hold your applause. I know there's some of you out there who are saying, isn't that old news? We expected that of you, Decay Man. There's other people who are saying, oh my god, the goat, my goat. Um, I know. I know. Whatever your opinion is, it was historic. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to go through step by step what I did to achieve this. We're going to go through the VOD, and I'm going to just demonstrate for you or teach you how to do what I did so you can copy and paste it and succeed with me. I would love to see, I pull this bad boy up here. I would love to see others, K squatters. Oh, wait, let me let you see what I'm looking at. I'd love to see other K squatters here populating this top 100 list with me. If you're not in that list and you end up in that list, send me a DMM with that screenshot and we'll freaking go crazy on the Discord with a bunch of pogs, bunch of hundreds, fire emoji, or emote. As you can see, unique growth number 2 right here. Pop over here, unique growth number 2. Now, I brought 2 augment runes with me for this, and we wiped twice, unfortunately, so I didn't have my augment rune. I'm pretty sure that we could have potentially hit that number 1 spot if we had the augment rune. I looked over the VOD myself, couple areas where I could have optimized as well. I also believe that the number 1 parse is padding his absolute freaking brains out because he's pretty low eye level. This my friend pointed this out to me. Shout out Ted, shout out Ted Pop, shout out Minty P, shout out Bound. Hall of Fame legends are gonna get it this week for sure, no doubt. I believe goes a long way. I mean, this guy had did the most damage, and this is like weeks and weeks ago. Something else to point out: the duration of all the top 3 parses is 614. That is a remarkable coincidence on the dot, on the second. Yeah, so let's just get right freaking into it. A couple things to point out. One, I'm doing Shadow Pan. I call that Big Fists. I call that Flurry Strikes. Fists. I very rarely am calling it Shadow Pan, but I'm keeping myself formal for this video. Got the button down shirt on. Yeah, it's a flannel, whatever. I'm also playing the All Seer Trinket, and I'm also playing the Prism Trinket. All Seer Trinket. All Seer Trinket is max rank, but we don't have that like item that makes it giga rank, like 300 item level or whatever, 298 or something like that. Unfortunately, we'll have that next week, and next week maybe we will hit number 1. All right, let's get into it. First of all, we got the blankie on. You know what we do. Stay warm, stay cozy. Let's go through this. Let's mute it. I'm gonna go extremely granular detail here. Okay, we're going in and we're pulling. First thing that we're gonna do with the pull is we're throwing the keg at 1 second. That keg should be in frickin' transit as the pull is happening. The first thing to populate the damage meter we want to be our keg. So that it's not. It's not. The keg is hitting now though. That's okay. You want to throw your keg in while it's in transit. Global 1, or while the countdown is happening. Global 1, keg. I would also taunt if I was the one who is tanking first. Let me also just match these so it looks a bit. I don't like seeing that little perimeter of the camera. I would be taunting as well if I were to be the first tank, but I'm not. Global 1, keg. Global 2, ox. This is key importance. Your ox needs to be one of your first global, ideally literally your first global. The reason for this is that the ox is going to give you a mastery buff, which is going to increase all of your damage. The opening of the Brewmaster rotation is explosive. You are throwing an outrageous amount of kegs. You're getting so many keg resets as well. You want to make sure that every single little droplet of juice is further juiced by your ox mastery. And whatever, like, I think there's another offensive component to it in the Shadow Pantry, I forget, but okay, so anyway. Keg, pre-pull, basically. Ox number two. And let me ask you, class, if we use Ox, what is the next global that we should use? Do you see it on the screen? I bet you do. It's Blackout Kick. When you Blackout Kick with your Ox out, you get the Ox Stomp. That's the Ox's damage. With that being said, you want to basically smash as many Blackout Kicks as possible into your Ox window. So it's Keg, Global 1, Ox, Global 2, including your potion, obviously. Macro that puppy in, just so you don't forget, because I forget a lot, honestly. 3, Blackout Kick, and then what is 4? It's going to be the Exploding Keg. It's got to be the Exploding Keg. Exploding Keg is your most, like, big juice ability. Um, and usually when I use the Exploding Keg, I prefer to do that when I have 0 stacks, or 0 charges rather, of my regular keg. But in this case, um, on pole, you don't want to do that. Like, to be honest, like, okay, so let me explain. When you throw your exploding keg, you get a charge back of your regular keg. If I have, as I have right here, about like 1.5 kegs, right? The half being the second keg has charged halfway back through its cooldown. If I throw my keg and I get that extra stack given back to me, I'm effectively losing half of a cooldown benefit. So what I mean is, if I have 0 stacks of keg and I throw my exploding keg, if say for example, like I have 0.5 kegs, right? So I have 0 kegs to throw, but that last stack of the keg has recharged half of its cooldown. If I then throw my exploding keg, that is going to refund me a full charge or stack or whatever of the keg, and that keg is also going to reset to, like, you get 1 keg plus half of the previous cooldown charge. So you're getting full maximized refund of your keg stack or keg charge. If I were to use my exploding keg here, which I do, that's going to bring me to effectively 2.5 kegs. But you can't have 2.5 kegs. You can't have 3 kegs. It maxes out at 2, so you lose out on half of your keg cooldown. I think that this is an optimization that I can make here because I don't use my the thought process you have on most fights is use your exploding keg early and often so that you get as many exploding kegs as possible in the fight. However, we're going to hold off on sending our second exploding keg until later in the fight after it comes back off of cooldown. So to be honest, I think that if you want to optimize here, you'd probably prefer to get rid of all of your keg charges before you use your exploding keg, as one should do to optimize in general, because you're not going to be using your exploding keg right away. But that's okay. So we use our exploding keg as go before. So let's go back through the list. What was it? Keg, ox plus pot, kick, exploding keg. Into, boom, chi burst. Another big juice ability. We got to get that on CD. So that's your opener. Keg, regular keg that is. Black ox with a potion. Shooting your kick because you need to be smashing kick off a CD once your ox is out. Exploding keg, chi burst. And then after that, we're just going to go back into doing what we do. I put a fire breath on there because, like, at some point you got to get the fire breath out, but I personally prioritize fire breath pretty low when it comes to just doing damage compared to all those other things that we use. We will then go back into the regular rotation after this where we are using fiery breath. And if you're like in a mythic plus situation or you're tanking the boss, you do want to be putting your fiery breath on, or fire breath or whatever, pretty much right away. So then we go into kick, punch, keg, breath, kick, punch, keg, breath, over and over. That's your regular rotation. The other thing that I'm going to point out here that you're going to want to be doing is slamming your Celestial Infusions. This boss does not do a lot of damage. Your Celestial Infusion gives you a 100% chance at your Apex juiced keg, as I call it. So let me just go through that just so we are on the same baseline understanding. You have a regular keg, you got exploding keg, and you got your juiced keg. To me, the juiced keg is your Apex Talent proc keg. So when you slam your Special Infusion, you get one of those juiced kegs, so you want to be slamming those early on here, which also means you want to be slamming your Black Ox Brew here as well. And the reason for this is you don't need to play defensively here, just freaking slam all of your brews. Get freaking tipsy on it, get a little crazy, and slam. So we slam our Celestial Infusion, then I slam Black Ox Brew. The reason for this is hopefully, one, we're fishing for a proc. If we get it, cool. If not, whatever. Then we have Black Ox Brew on cooldown, so that for the rest of everything that we're doing in the next, like, minute or whatever is giving us CDR on our Black Ox brew. So you might as well get it on CD because you don't really have a need for it throughout this fight in general. And for two, if you're just going to sit on it, you're wasting potential CDR. So get it on cooldown. Hopefully you get a proc. If you don't, hey, no big deal because it also resets your Celestial Infusion. So that's why you want to slam your Celestial Infusion, hit the Black Ox to bring your Celestial Infusion back, and then slam your Celestial Infusion again so we get another juiced keg. So as you see here, I slam. Do I even slam another Celestial Infusion here? I might wait for this one to fall off, which is fine. So we do that, and we're just going back through our regular cooldowns here. Kick, punch, keg, breath. Kick, punch, keg, breath. What I'm waiting for here, I also hit a chi burst here to make sure that I'm angled such that I hit all of the adds. I'm actually waiting to use my Celestial Infusion here, also hoping that I end up having 0 keg stacks, because just similar to as I explained with the exploding keg, if you use your Celestial Infusion, you might eat some of your cooldown, like your potential cooldown. Now, that's not as true with Celestial Infusion because you do get like the more juiced keg from the Celestial Infusion, so you do kind of want to use that. But because like it's, we're still like in Lust and we just have like so much haste at the moment, I'm kind of just going through my regular rotation, hoping to not like um, waste some of the potential cooldown. Another mistake that I'm making here that it could be another optimization is slam our um, what is this thing called? Your like big defensive a four brew. You want to be slamming your four brew too, because that will also give you a juiced keg as well. So yeah, we chi burst there. Let me just back up so you can see that because we got the ads coming in here. So I'm gonna like position myself a little bit, rotate it around a little bit this way, such that my chi burst is able to go through the boss and also hit the little ads. On top of that, we're gonna drop down our ring of peace. This is optimization related to doing damage, but I'm gonna point this out. Sometimes you get in the situation where the little ads are staggered from one another. So if you put your ring of peace down, especially early, like I was doing this during prog, that'll help group all of the little ads together. It makes DPS them down a lot easier. Just a little pro tip for you right there, because here's one thing that I want to point out really quickly. It's one thing to parse, but you're a tank. Your priority should always be making sure that the kill is clean and effective. Now, if you can do damage, that's great. If you can be somebody who, uses your utility, has great positioning, all this type of stuff, such that you guys get a clean kill, that's also great. If you can do both, you are a legend, and that's what the KaySquad is all about. So we just go back. We're doing a regular rotation. Not really too much to say here until we get into like the ghost phase or whatever, where like you go underground or I don't know, like the dream realm type of thing. Except for this, once you get to the little Azure you're gonna want to pull this big boss, Chimaerus, towards the horror. I think it's called. Maybe the horror is the not. I don't remember what this mob is called, but it's like to the big ghost mob that you want to kill here. Big dream mob. I don't really know what these things are, to be honest, such that like you can cleave off of both of them once they are, you want to get them close enough where you can cleave into both of them for your DPS. I could be optimizing here a little bit better as well if I'm from a damage perspective by being closer to them, so I'm cleaving. The reason I'm not is because we had wipe twice and this is re-clear, and I just really want to make sure that we can move on to our actual prog. So I'm not making a huge effort here to like eke out every little bit of damage and potentially risk hurting anybody. But with that being said, we want to get as close as possible. As you can see, this is like pretty much as perfect as the position can get. We're going to get a little bit of cleave here as well. I could have rotated because it doesn't make a difference if the boss is spinning around. You just don't want to move the boss. So to be honest, like I should have, from an optimization point of view, been a little bit closer to the mob, maybe like a second or two ago myself, not the boss. The boss is positioned perfectly. And then the little tip I want to give here is you need to Todd this mob. Especially when you're progging, Todd is a huge, huge, big juicer ability, so you want to make sure that you're Todding, but especially for if you're trying to parse here, you want to Todd early and often, such that you can get as many Todds into the fight as possible. I will get 3 Todds. You should get 3 Todds at the very least into this fight. So we're going to hit the chi burst on him. Not a great chi burst. I should have been rotated a little bit, so I hit both mobs. It might have hit the Chimaerus. It doesn't. I can't really tell, to be honest, because the little aura thing is covering him the damage, so I can't see if it's the same damage here. But I kind of feel like it doesn't. But he has a big hitbox, so it's possible we hit him too. But we on hit the Todd as well, which we already did. And if you see here, I'm not using my exploding keg because we're saving it for when we go underground. So this is what I meant by like, I'm not going to be using my exploding keg immediately off of cooldown on cooldown, because we're saving it to get some big juice on the ads downstairs. So now we're going to be sent downstairs. I'm checking here to make sure they use the correct pot because I was having some issues by my macro using the wrong pot. We're going to use our Celestial Infusion here for the big hit because, we're still just trying to help out our healers and survive and just be legends of the game who are doing everything correctly. Once you land here, the big thing you're going to want to get is aggro on this big mob. So I would personally recommend taunting him. You might as well. Like, there's no reason not to taunt this guy. In this case, I'm actually able to just hit him with my keg. That's why I'm targeting this mob here with my keg because I'm going to hit all three of these mobs. And the big thing here is just making sure that you get aggro. One other thing to note is that at this point of the season, we're juicers. We're strong. We got the like turbo boost buff thing or whatever. These little mobs are going to die really quickly. So if you want to optimize your damage, it's really in this fight, it's really done in this section right here. And what that means is you need to get your big juicers out ASAP because otherwise these little mobs are going to die before you can get that big juice out on them. So what are our big juicer abilities? Exploding keg, Ox plus a blackout kick, and then throw in our little kegs as well. Here, an optimization I could make is to use a Celestial Infusion while I'm doing the gather, but I'm pretty focused on just freaking getting everything out and getting the aggro on them, most importantly. So we go out here, I drop my Ox, I hit an Exploding Keg here, because I'm just so in the mindset of prioritizing getting all of your juicer abilities out because otherwise these things are going to die really quickly. But I probably should have kicked there first. I hit a kick afterwards. Doesn't really matter. The kick is more important because the longer you delay your kick, the less amount of kicks you're going to have in your aux window. Whereas your exploding keg will always you only get one keg throughout your aux window. So even though it's like probably like a 0.25 second difference, like we're optimizers. Okay, so then everything gets gathered here. And that's pretty much it. We slam our regular kegs, and if you notice here, I just use a keg. The regular rotation is keg, breath, keg for doing big damage. I don't do that here. I slam two kegs in a row. The reason for doing that is because these mobs, like if you look at this little mob here, he's gonna be dead. So I'm gonna throw my keg again after I do my kick, and I throw my keg. If I were to have weaved in a breath here, because this mob's gonna die before that next global is even up, I would have missed that mob with the second keg. The keg does more damage than the breath, so like I said previously, these little mobs are gonna die so unbelievably quickly. You need to get your juice in. Squeeze out that orange, you know what I mean? Squeeze it out like crazy. And then they die, and that's about it. Now we kill this guy. One optimization that I could make as well here is we want to be, and this is what I was doing more so during Prague, is you want to drop your Transcendence, like your little port, back over here towards the boss, so that when this guy dies, you can just port right over. What I've been doing recently, because we are doing a lot of damage, is when we were first playing this fight, we had the boss like over here on this perimeter of the arena, and then we had this guy, the Horror, the Colossal Horror. Oh, so it was a Horror, I was correct, on like the opposite end of the perimeter of the arena. Now that we have more damage, we don't need to do that because we don't need as much time to kill the big guy. And to be honest, like when you have that guy all the way on the other side of the map, he ends up just spending a lot of time walking anyway without people even really damaging him. You do get more damage on because people can get their dots up on him and things like that, but at this stage we don't need to do that. And that's also why I'm not dropping my port because it's, within one roll I can get back to the boss basically after we kill this guy. But nonetheless, the port would be better optimization. So we go in here, we do our damage, nothing to really talk about here, just regular rotation, keg, breath, kick, punch, keg, breath, kick, punch, say it with me, keg, breath, kick, punch, perfect, great job everybody. We go in here and we do what we do now, run this guy. Once, what I'd recommend if you're progging is check this debuff here. You want to, whenever this debuff ends, you want to go back and help kill the horror, get your damage on the horror. That's the most important part of like where your damage should be. And yeah, but on this part, it doesn't really matter. Like, my group has enough damage where who cares? We also don't really have any abilities up to cleave off of him anyway, except for Chi Burst, which I think I make an effort here. Yep, so I get behind the boss and I shoot my Chi Burst to make sure that I hit both the boss and the horror. We don't have taught up, so no big deal. And then we just get back in here so we can get a little bit of cleaving. I got a kick off there, I got a keg off there. So we're doing nice juice damage. Now we're gonna get knocked back and we're gonna go into the intermission here. I mean, this is where you really see Uniquegrowth differentiate himself from other people. I'm going to point that out in a second because I mean, this is a thing of beauty that I do here. I make sure to get as much damage as possible onto Chimaerus as he's going to fly away. So I even throw an exploding keg. No, I say my keg obviously for whatever, but as you can see here, I get the Jade Lightning out. How many other people are hitting Jade Lightning in this fight? Very few, if any. And if they are doing it, maybe it's to tag the Az in the intermission or something like that. I mean, come on. Come on, who is doing it like Dakayman? Who is doing it like the growth? Nobody. That's why it's a unique growth. So we get the Shade Lightning on him, and we even just hold the channel. We get back here, we do the bait or whatever for this like breath thing. Easy peasy, run over here, and now we do what we do, um, which is just kill the ads. So we go in here, we hit a taunt on that guy. I don't really, I'm usually taunting the horror, but I taunted him just because like I got all my abilities up, so I can throw a keg on him. I get him in here. We then make sure that we do damage to everybody. We threw our keg on there. After we get the grip in, we hit our keg on absolutely everybody. Perfectly done. And then we start throwing our kegs. Breath, keg, breath. Oh, well, there actually, because the blackout kick is off cooldown, we want to do a blackout kick before the breath. That's a big optimization for Brewmasters to learn. When you throw your keg, your breath obviously resets. So a lot of people say keg breath, and that is true for like 95 to even 99% of the time. But there are times where your blackout kick will come off of cooldown because of the way they changed the blackout kick. It's totally fine to do keg, blackout kick, and then breath. You don't lose anything by doing that. So you always want to prioritize your blackout kick because it does big damage, especially in a moment like this where you have a lot of little ads that are going to die quickly. Your breath is not going to do as much damage as your big cleave kick. And also, if you have your black ox out as well, same thing. You're going to want to be prioritizing your kick over pretty much anything else. So simple rotation, we just do what we do. We have a Todd, so we're going to send the Todd there because, like I said, you want to smash the Todds early and often in this fight. There's a lot of opportunities to hit Todds because there's multiple ads that do die, so you want to get your Todds out. We then throw a Chi Burst. The idea with that Chi Burst and holding it was to hopefully hit these mobs in the back here, but actually I did a little too early, and I threw a Chi Burst at Chimaerus who was flying through. I don't think it hits him, maybe it does. If it does, it's probably like Gimp damage, but whatever. So that was not a perfect Sheeber, so that's another optimization. One of the things about learning is that like even when you're the professor, even when you're the master, even when you are unique growth, there's still room for more unique improvement as well. So just keep that in mind. This is not me saying, hey, this is perfect. This is a VOD review for myself to improve and to help you improve as well. I mean, isn't that such a beautiful thing? To this day, I'm at the young age of what I am, and I would just simply say that learning is one of the most beautiful things. So we pulled these guys back, get our aggro on them all, obviously, and we just go through a regular rotation here. I slam a Black Ox Brew there. Why? Because that's what we're supposed to be doing in this fight, slamming our CDs. We get a Celestial Infusion, but we don't use it, so using the Black Ox Brew there was actually like completely useless. Another another learning opportunity for us right there. And then we're just fishing and doing what we do. I mean, there's really not much more to say at this part. I do have no abilities up. I could hit a Chi Burst here. I don't think I do because at the end of the day, we are the tank. We need to make sure that even in reclears, even also in prog, obviously, that everything we are doing is clean, focused, and we're trying to make the job of the tank first is to make the job of everybody else easier. So we throw a Rop in there to pull him in so that everybody else can cleave too. We could have hit a Chi Burst. We could have optimized our damage even further, but it's important to optimize the strategy. It's important to optimize the efficiency of all the people in our team. So we use a global on abilities that don't even do damage sometimes for the sake of our team. And that is being a team player. And the real MVP is the person who plays for their team. Part of playing for your team is doing damage, and if you are, as I said before, a legend, you're doing both those things at once. So we do what we do, continue doing the little damage rotation here. Really not much to be said. We hit Chi Burst. We hit, it looks like maybe 4 targets, but it probably was really only on 2 because the other ones died pretty quickly. And we get the final kick in there. Sorry, I skipped ahead. My bad. Boss is going to come down here real quick. And in this one, I'm the one who's going to be taking the boss first here. So this is a little bit different. Usually people do like one tank takes soak 1, or like goes down to kill the ads with 1. The other one will take 2, and then you reset for like the other ad phases. Before Guardian Druid got buffed, it didn't have great AoE threat, so I started going down for the first set after the intermission because I had better AoE threat, so we just kind of got in the habit of that. If you wanted to be like an absolute rat and parse out of your mind, what I'd recommend is you go down as like the sacrificial tank, the tank who basically sacrifices himself and goes underground alone. In the past, you would die from that, but now that we're stronger, you don't necessarily die from it. And you can also ask for an external and live. Then you can just go down there and go like absolutely freaking buck wild in the ghost zone and just hit things. But it's completely useless damage, and you're just doing it to parse. I wouldn't recommend it because that's rat behavior. So I'll probably do that next week though, if possible, honestly, to get to secure the number one spot. But that's a whole other story. Sometimes, hey, there's nothing wrong with being a little rat king, you know. So I taunt here, and I'm going down with the other group now. Not really too much to be said here, except for the fact that we are keeping our explosive keg for the downstairs phase. Do I use my chi burst here? I might, because like I said, yeah, it's really hard to get all of your other abilities out while you're down there, and with the amount of time it takes to cast the chi burst too, I don't know. I just feel like when I've used when I've prioritized using chi burst down below, I miss out on some of my other abilities that I have available to me. What's really nice here is I actually go down with a big juiced keg, and what's also nice here is that all the mobs are pretty much already grouped by the time I get down here. So this is like beautiful. I mean, chef's kiss, you know, like super lucky RNG, I guess. I throw my keg here, hit them all. The reason I throw the keg is, like I said, these mobs die really quickly, and you don't want to potentially miss out on that. So in the time that I take to gather these, like, yeah, I probably could use my keg here instead, but I also want to get aggro, like I said. And then so we threw a keg, and now we just do a regular rotation keg, and while prioritizing our regular kicks, because that gives us our punches, ba 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 ba, and also does fat damage. We get our Ox coming up here. Um, I do use it, so that's good. I hit a black. I mean, this is gamer moments. I use my Ox, and I throw my keg, and then I throw a kick before I leave. So now my kick is on CD after using the Ox, so that when I back to the boss, and I also use the entire duration of my flurry strikes. As soon as the flurry strikes are over, then I'm rolling back. So now my blackout kick is recharging. My flurry strikes have been used and consumed, and I'm rolling back onto the boss. I mean, unbelievable, like unbelievable gameplay there. Perfectly done, if I do say so myself. And that's pretty much it. I mean, after this, the boss just goes back to doing what he does. You just kill the boss. There's really nothing else to happen here. There's some more ads. We do have a Todd up, so we're going to use our Todd on the horror, like I've mentioned before. This will give us our third one. We're also going to prioritize hitting them for two reasons. One, because that's the ethical thing to do, and for two, because you get some more cleave on that as well. So we hit our Todd on him and kill this guy, and now it's time to just finish off the boss. The other tank is going to go into the ghost zone. We are going to take the boss, and we are going to finish it up. Really not too much more to be said than that at the end of the day, this was unbelievable gameplay. If you copy and paste this exact strategy, you too will be up among the elites. Like I said previously, I would absolutely love to see the rest of the K squad populating this top 10, top 20, top 30 list alongside me. Like I said, some things that you want to prioritize is always being the best tank that you can. That is utility, that is positioning. But at the end of the day, it feels so great to get out there and do some big time juice damage. So we can finish off Chimaerus here, and that's about it. I mean, I'm going absolutely loco. I actually did not think that this was going to be a great parse. I'm pretty surprised that I got the rank 2 parse. There's lots of things that I could have learned or could have improved on here, and there are a lot of things that I have learned. As you see, I was like, oh man, I think that that was not a great parse. I was a little bit bummed, but then I went over and I checked it. I'm also bummed I didn't get this waste because that's the Biss Mistweaver waste, but somebody got it who actually was potentially going to play Havoc for a different fight. Is what it is. That's a whole other story. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so with that being said, school was in session, and now the bell's ringing. It's time to go. I just want to say, shout out to the K Squad. You know, like, follow, um, comment, all that type of stuff. I mean, unbelievable, beautiful gameplay. We stream this obviously. We're streaming on Tuesdays. We're streaming on Thursdays. I gotta be honest, the streams are going absolutely psycho recently. People are loving it. I mean, I've been seeing things like in the comments, even in like forums, things not even directly related to the K Squad, which are saying things like, oh, my life was so dark until I found Dakayman streams, and since then, there's finally light once again in my life. Things like, you know, I was so miserable, I was so depressed, and once I started to see the beautiful and wonderful entertainer that Dakayman is, I finally have hope again in my life. I found a community where I feel like I fit in, and I feel respected, and I feel loved. So, like, join the K Squad, follow the stream, subscribe to the YouTube. We're going crazy. I mean, like, the amount of plans that we have are just unbelievable. We're doing cooking streams at some point. Learn Og with me, learn Mage with me, Zero to Hero, other tank class, probably Bear because it's busted right now, and I don't know. That's like I can't really get into keys anymore since the nerf to Brewmaster plus the buff to Bear, and that's really depressing. We're doing those, and is there anything else? Yeah, of course it is. So we have this new session going on, this new sequence of videos going on. We got what is this called? What do I call it? Schools in session. We got the loco seat, obviously some of the best content that YouTube has ever seen. And then on top of that, yes, I know there's people have been waiting for years for this, but sequence 3 is in production and it's towards the end of its production as well. We've been chefing it up, cooking crazy style. It's going to be a beautiful thing of beauty. Stay tuned for that. Anyway, every day my love for you grows more and more, truly. If no one else tells you today, just know that I do love you deeply, deeply.